Howdy folks, Nathan here with the Fast Lane Truck and the top 6 wildest and most powerful performance trucks you can buy. And the reason we came up with this is because recently Yenko beefed up like crazy a Chevy Silverado. So we looked at that story and we thought, we've actually driven a lot of these super high performance trucks. So we're going to put together a video for you guys to see this interesting list. And during this video, you're going to see our team drive some of these vehicles. So we actually have some experience with some of them. And you won't believe how wild they are in terms of just ridiculous numbers. Now, there are a lot of other vehicles out there. We know there are a lot of other tuners out there, but these are the ones that we have experience with. But we wanted to start with number 6, which is the 2021 Chevy Silverado 1500 Yenko SC 800. Why 800? SVE, which is Specialty Vehicle Engineering, has built a supercharged engine. Now, it's in 2018, they took a 6.2 liter V8 and they bored it out to a 6.8 liter, and they were able to, with a supercharger, crank out 800 horsepower and 750 pound-feet of torque. It's ridiculous, but this is basically a street truck, and it cost back then around $90,000. Now, that one was a Z71 4x4 with the short cab only, so standard cab. Now they've gone and they've built one that is just a 6.2 liter, so they didn't bore it out. There's multiple cab configurations. It can be 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. And the cool thing about this one is it still puts out 800 horsepower, but a little bit more manageable 720 pound-feet of torque. And what they did was they removed the 10-speed automatic transmission and they put in a 6-speed automatic transmission with a lot more beef, so it can handle that much torque. And on top of that, this vehicle has almost everything in terms of the block has been modified. The supercharger itself, everything that is attached to it, obviously directly through Yenko. Now, by the way, for those of you who are curious about Yenko, they became very popular in the fast car culture back in the 60s because they started doing dealership tunes. It's actually a dealership out of Pennsylvania. So in the 60s, they started tuning their cars, and now Yenkos from the 60s are some of the most collectible vehicles out there in their class. So yeah, they have this. We don't know what the price is on their newest Yenko product. As I said before, the old one was around $90,000. Perhaps it'll be around that same price. A lot of these don't have prices or other details because, God forbid, it be simple, right? Let's move on though. The Chevy Silverado 1500 Goliath lineup, the whole lineup by Hennessey Performance. Now, there's more than just a beefed up 4x4 here. Oh, there's a lot more. There's also 6x6 trucks that they build, which is just ridiculous. So let's get to it. Here's the video of the first 6x6 Goliath with John Hennessey.
And you know, the other thing I was worried about was, you know, you've got the 5.3 under the hood of this, that it wouldn't be enough power, but it feels fine.
It really is. And the next one that we're building is a 6.2, and so you've got the V8 sound, and it's got good, you know, good off the line snap. And so, I mean, again, for something that's significantly heavier,
that is perfectly fine.
Sure, absolutely.
That is just perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. Especially since you've added 2,000 pounds, right? That's a lot
That's a lot of weight. But it's in the right place, in the back.
They're building a very limited number of these 6x6 trucks, and they can cost up to about $400,000 with some options. If you have a smaller budget, you can get the latest Goliath, 700 and 800 horsepower 4x4 trucks. The 700 obviously has the 700 horsepower at 6,300 RPM. And it is a supercharged 6.2 liter V8. That supercharger is 2.9 liters. It's a big unit. The trucks are also available with a 6-inch lift, and it depends on the trim, of course, but you can do lots of other custom touches, and you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. The prices vary by option. and the base prices are not listed, so you'd have to actually contact them. But here's the good news. Let's say you don't want a Hennessey Chevy product, but you want a Ford product. You can get that. The Hennessey Ford product, which is number 4 on our list, is the F-150 Velociraptor. And it's a lineup just like the Chevy as well, which means there's also a 6x6 available. Now, here's the funny thing about these 6x6 vehicles. There's pros and cons to everything, and they really don't talk about how much more it can actually hold in the bed, in terms of towing. They don't really talk about that either. They don't talk much about that. But what they do talk about is that it's really cool and that it's a lot less expensive than the Mercedes-Benz version of their 6x6 pickup. Okay. That's about all they do. But on top of that, the F-150, the 6x6, puts out 600 horsepower and 622 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is through the EcoBoost, so it's got a beefed up turbo, it's got a tuned exhaust and everything else to make it that powerful, as opposed to shoving a V8 in there. It weighs about 700 pounds more, so figure that extra axle, extra suspension, longer bed and all that. But despite that, according to Hennessey, the 6x6 Raptor can go 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is actually faster than the regular Raptor. They're going to build about 100 units, 50 of them for the United States, 50 for the rest of the world. Prices start around $349,000. That's impressive. Now, amongst the other trucks that they build, they actually have a 5-liter supercharged Coyote engine that puts out 758 horsepower, and it has the 10-speed automatic transmission. I think it would be really awesome if they were to put that engine into the 6x6, but there's no mention of that. Let's move on to the next one, PaxPower. Now, PaxPower actually is something that Andres had some dealings with. They take supercharged V8s and throw them into modern Raptors. And, well, when you see this video, you'll understand how impressed Andre was with it.
4-wheel drive auto, traction control off. Oh, that's ridiculous! What just happened? I got tunnel vision.
So basically, you select which F-150 donor truck you want. It can be a King Ranch or any other crew cab 4x4 configuration with the factory V8. PaxPower offers several packages, but the most optioned truck has the factory Raptor suspension and bodywork, so it's Ford parts. Then you can also opt for their top-of-the-line 758 horsepower supercharged engine, which comes with the Coyote V8. So that can come as an option. Andre got to drag race the truck, as you saw, which he really enjoyed. The F-150 V8, if it's too big of a truck for you, they actually offer a US spec Ford Ranger, and they turned it into a Ranger Raptor. So they got a lot of the tuned components from overseas with that Raptor, and then on top of that, they tuned and beefed up the 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine that comes in the Ranger. Interesting possibilities there, right? I mean, a Ranger Raptor is something a lot of Americans want, so this is one way to get it. So the next vehicle is also PaxPower, and that is the Chevy Silverado 1500 Jackal, which is an awesome name. GM does not currently offer anything to truly compete against the likes of Ford with their Raptor, but the PaxPower is kind of the answer for that. So this is a practical vehicle in terms of what they've built for day-to-day driving and off-road capability and power. This vehicle has a Stage 3 custom long travel suspension, King shocks, wide body kit to match. It rides on 37-inch tires, and it currently uses the 6.2-liter V8. Chevy Performance Parts helps it make 442 horsepower. However, a supercharged 6.2 Jackal is in the works, and that will most likely be a beast. So the current non-supercharged Stage 3 is a $35,000 price on top of the donor truck. So this is one of the trucks that you can't just buy off the factory floor. Although I would go on the website and check it out because you never know what you can find. It's such a cool looking truck. All right, let's continue with one of the most beastly versions of the Raptor, and that is number 1, the Shelby Ford F-150 Raptor. Now this is their version of a Raptor. $120,000 gets you a 525 horsepower, 610 pound-feet of torque V6, so it's a tuned EcoBoost, and it's hooked up to the 10-speed automatic transmission, but it has the most advanced Fox 3.0 shocks. So they're upgraded from the 3.0 active shocks that are available on the stock F-150 Raptor. It has a Baja case rack in the back and many other options. This is really built for off-roading. So as opposed to having just an extreme amount of horsepower, it's really a suspension setup on this truck. Andre had a chance to get up close and personal with this truck at the 2019 SEMA show. So check out this video.
And how come you got 2 lines here instead of 1?
So if you have 1, you're only offsetting the volume of the shaft.
Okay.
So that's how much oil is moving. So if we move this much oil, it's never going to make it out of the hose. It would be like having a power steering cooler or a radiator, but with no pump.
Okay.
It wouldn't work. So these are checked. Oil goes in one hose and out the other to make sure that we're getting a heat exchange and really taking advantage of that extruded aluminum.
So kind of a one-way path then?
Yes.
In and out. All right, nice. Here's what it looks like on the truck.
So we have really clean fitment here. You can see how our nice covers have really kind of dolled up the adjusters, and it's going to plug right into your factory wiring.
Okay.
It's going to be an easy install. Your end user adjustment is just around the front of the wheel here. So fairly accessible.
Down there, and the shock. And actually the lines are fitting inside here, the A-arm, the upper A-arm, I guess.
Yes, so we have tons of clearance. Obviously, this is closer to full extension, so we're not really worried that we're ever going to get any rubbing.
And this,
Now you may be asking, why didn't you show the custom Ram or Toyota or Nissan trucks? Well, there are a couple things to keep in mind. There are a lot of kits out there, crate engines and what have you, for all of these vehicles. But in terms of the major manufacturers who do aftermarket tuning and build whole trucks, there just aren't a lot of them. So unfortunately, for Ram, for Toyota, and for Nissan, there's sort of piecemeal components. Now there are some one-offs that were built for SEMA and will be built for SEMA in the future, but so far we haven't found any notable aftermarket auto builders, guys who actually build from the ground up a vehicle like PaxPower, like Shelby, like Hennessey, and offer a vehicle that you can buy and take home right away. That's either a Ram or a Nissan or a Toyota. It's kind of a shame because all 3 of those platforms have a lot of potential. The one thing we do know is that there's a lot of guys out there who are taking the Elephant massive Hemi and they're shoving it into just about everything, including pickup trucks. I have a feeling you're going to hear a lot more of that in the future from possibly one of these tuners. All right, let's talk about some bonuses, because not everything here has to be a badass off-road 4x4. Just like the Yenko in the very beginning, Ford has something too, and that is the Shelby F-150 Super Snake. Now, this thing is a street truck. It's insane because it puts out 770 horsepower. So very closely matched to that Yenko. They're using a supercharged V8. According to Shelby America, it goes 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It's a $93,000 truck. There are many other customized trucks that are built by Shelby America in Las Vegas, but there are also a lot of vehicles that they work in conjunction with Tuscany Motor Company. And Tuscany is a builder that is now owned by Fox Factory, Fox Shocks. They also build several other trucks like GMC, Sierra, Harley Davidson Edition. Now, why did I mention that? And that's because it's our final bonus. Andre got an opportunity to drive the GMC Sierra Harley Davidson version. Check out this video because it's from the 2019 Chicago Auto Show, which seems a long time ago, doesn't it?
The grille, obviously, is 100% Harley Davidson, bar and shield. Very unique design. It's an injection molded piece.
and I think before we kind of talk about the rest of the truck, we got to talk about the wheels. This is very special.
very special wheel designed off of the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. And this is a high gloss black with a milled finish on your vanes of your spokes of your wheel.
And these are 22s, right?
These are 22s with
And,
Toyo tires.
And the 35-inch tall tire.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed these little video tidbits on top of these absolutely insane off-road vehicles and on-road vehicles for that matter. It's funny because just a few years ago, would you ever think that there would be such a thing as a super truck? Something that is just ridiculously overpowered, kind of like a Lamborghini or something like that? Well, now they're everywhere. If you guys have some suggestions of some name brands that we perhaps missed, some tuners that we forgot about or just simply didn't add to this list, please write them below. For the Fast Lane Truck, this is Nathan. I'll see you next time.